So Season 1 has finally arrived to Battlefield 6, but with mixed reviews. Some people are loving the new Battle Royale map, while others feel that Conquest players are being left behind, and I'll be going over some player feedback on what DICE should do to make sure that the core Battlefield fan base doesn't feel left behind. And speaking of mixed reviews, the new Blackwell Fields Conquest map is definitely seeing a mix of positive and negative opinions from fans, and I'll be diving into that as well. Also, I've got all new details on what you can expect for the November update, including the battle pickups that will be coming alongside the new Eastwood map, which definitely seems to be the most highly anticipated Conquest map, and find out what that freeze gameplay mechanic is all about when it arrives alongside the snowy New York map in December. And there's so much more news in this video as well that I'm going to go over. So let's dive into the news and take a look. So where to begin? We can talk about the Battle Royale map, or we can talk about the Blackwell Fields map or the other updates, but we're going to start off with the Battle Royale map for a couple of reasons. And the first reason is the controversy surrounding this map being put as more of a priority over some of the Conquest maps in the game for the first part of Season 1. So let's talk about this. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that I'm more of a Conquest player when it comes to Battlefield. I love the classic Conquest mode, but I did jump into the Battle Royale RedSec mode, and I have to say that this Battle Royale map is definitely one of the most gorgeous looking Battle Royale maps I've ever seen, which is why it's a shame that they didn't include like a Conquest map inside of this Battle Royale map, or a mode for us Conquest players that like respawn type modes. But let's take a look at what East Row Club had to say. I probably said that name completely wrong, but they said, spending tons of development effort on a map this large and not releasing sections of it for core multiplayer play is insanely aggravating. And I have to agree with this because, again, this map is gorgeous, and I do know we're getting Eastwood in November, but looking at this update, I do wonder if they should have released Blackwell Fields and Eastwood at the same time this month to give us Conquest players something more to play, or perhaps offer a unique game mode inside the Battle Royale map, something similar to Plunder mode from Call of Duty or something like that supported respawns for us veteran Battlefield players that really enjoy respawn type modes like Conquest, right? So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. I really think the next proper step for DICE is to really make sure that they're making their Battlefield veteran fans happy by offering some type of respawn mode on this map. Because again, this map, it's so beautiful. I want to go in there and I really want to play something like Plunder or something like that. That gives me the ability to permanently respawn back onto the map. Maybe even a domination type of mode, something like that to keep us Conquest players happy. Because right now, it's definitely for the hardcore Battle Royale crowd, as you all know. So again, sound off in the comments. Let me know how you guys feel about the Battle Royale mode. What do you think of the map, and have you been playing RedSec, or are you still gravitating more towards the Conquest mode? And now let's talk about everybody's reaction to the new Blackwell Fields Conquest map, and it's definitely a mixed reaction for sure. We're going to take a look at this reaction from Kotaku first, who says Battlefield 6's new map is very bad. Season 1's Blackwell Fields is tiny, boring, empty, and just not any good. Now, before I go on and read the rest of the article, I gave my opinion on the Blackwell Fields map in yesterday's video, so if you want to check that out, be sure to watch that video. I'm definitely more of a vehicle and infantry player, so I do a lot of mix of vehicle and infantry. And I play engineer most of the time, so I think Blackwell Fields is not nearly as bad as some people are making out to be, but there are definitely issues with the map. We're going to take a look at Kotaku's take right now. They said it's an odd duck of a map that feels too big and empty when you're running around on foot, but feels too small when you're trying to use vehicles. Snipers are king on this map and will quickly take you out the moment you spawn. Blackwell Fields also lacks a lot of interesting spaces in which to fight, mostly just being an oil field with some hills to use as cover. not great. Flying around the map is a pain too, as it's so small, you'll quickly hit the out of bounds and be forced to turn around. So they do bring up many good points about the map that needs to be fixed, such as the flying issues on this map, which I'm going to go over here in just a second. But I think their take on Blackwell Fields is a bit too harsh. Concerning the actual environment, I think it's pretty cool. I love the sunset. I think the oil fields is a completely unique environment. I think it's actually a pretty cool setting, and it definitely feels completely different than the rest of the map. So it does add a lot of variety. And if you love vehicles, you're going to love this map because it's got plenty of tanks. It's got the transport vehicle as well. So you got to really be strategic and move around the map properly to avoid those snipers. So there's a lot of strategy involved here. And, while it's not everybody's cup of tea, it's definitely not the worst map ever. Again, I think there's a lot of over-exaggeration going on with this map, but I do think the Eastwood map is going to be better received across the board from just the initial impressions we've gotten. Now, let's talk about the air combat and the issues with the spawn killing. This was posted by Square Border 7525, who says you can be spawn killed by anti-air from their HQ on the Blackwell Fields map. And as you can see, this shows footage of them taking off in their jet while being locked on. This should not even be possible because they are under the radar, so how is somebody even locking onto their jet as they're taking off? This is definitely something very concerning right here, and Debonka also points this out, and they say, below radar should prevent lock-ons. What the F is that? And then also, Sweaty Internet 6037 says, Blackwell Fields, enemy base AA shoots you while you are still in your own base. And they show their helicopter having issues as well. So yeah, Blackwell Fields obviously has some issues that need to be addressed. I wish it was not released in this state and that these issues did not exist. And the actual boundary zone for flying vehicles needs to be increased as well, so there's more room for pilots to fly. And this is something that needs to be addressed on other maps too. But yeah, especially for Blackwell Fields. So I want to hear from you guys now that you've had the chance to play Blackwell Fields yourself. Do you think it's as bad as people are making it out to be? Or do you like Blackwell Fields? Sound off in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take on this map. And I've got more details on November and December Season 1 updates, including the exact details on what the battle pickup weapons will be, and then also more details on what that gameplay freeze mechanic will be in the December update as well. So let's first start off with the November update. This is what Battlefield Bulletin posted about those 2 battle pickup weapons. They said 2 battle pickup weapons will be available in California Resistance in November. They can only be found in high value caches around the map. And the first one is the Rorsch MK2 SMRW, which is a chargeable railgun inflicting massive damage to soldiers, vehicles, and structures. Sounds pretty cool. And then you have the MP RMG, a minigun with a fast rate of fire, effective against light vehicles and infantry. Sounds cool as well. So these are the 2 battle pickup weapons that will be coming to Battlefield in November. And then they also talk about the Rodeo mission for Gauntlet mode. They said in Rodeo, the upcoming mission for Gauntlet mode, squads must earn eliminations while occupying heavily armored tanks scattered throughout the playable area. The 2 squads with the least amount of points are removed from the Gauntlet match. And again, this is all going to be available November 18th alongside that Eastwood map. And then we have the Winter Offensive update coming in December, and they talk about that freeze gameplay mechanic and talk about exactly what that does. So they said this, first of all, about the actual map. They said this limited time map update of Empire State will be available for both multiplayer and Gauntlet mode variants. Ice Lock, the limited time event, will be centered around a mechanic called Freeze, a gameplay modifier that slowly reduces player health if they do not seek external heat sources. Combat zones will have designated heat zones to bring your core temperature back up to normal, or you can create fire using incendiary grenades and other gadgets. Unlike the traditional gauntlet on Fort Linden, Ice Lock Gauntlet takes place on the Ice Lock Empire State multiplayer map, with a locked set of 3 operations in every match. Master these operations while braving the effects of freeze, and your squad will be rewarded with more than just the pride of victory. So this sounds pretty cool, and I think this freeze mechanic will definitely add some tension to the matches for sure, and it's going to affect the flow of the gameplay quite dramatically. So it's going to be really cool to see how this plays out. Now, they go on to say Portal will also get a new verified mode and all winter offensive content, including the Ice Lock Empire State map and the Ice Lock variant rules before the end of the year, available December 9th. So that sounds like a cool update for December 9th. Now, I do wish we were getting another brand new map in December as well, considering that the game released with only 8 Conquest maps. So DICE, if you're listening, please give us more Conquest maps, because I think that's what the majority of players really want to see. I think 5 maps per month would be great, so a total of 60 new Conquest maps next year. Of course, that won't happen. I'm totally joking, but I think it'd be cool to see at least 1 new Conquest map per month. I know that seems like a lot, but man, wouldn't it be awesome to see like 12 new Conquest maps next year? I know that's a tall order, but if you think about it, I mean, why not double down on Battlefield 6 while you have the chance? This game sold 7 million copies at launch. Here's your opportunity to keep those players on board and keep this community alive and going. And by the way, if you guys have been having problems accessing the single player campaign on Steam, well, the Battlefield.com's official Twitter said this issue that prevented players on Steam from accessing the Battlefield 6 campaign has now been resolved. You'll need to restart your Steam client for the change to take effect. Thanks for your patience as the team worked to address this issue. So that's very good news indeed. And by the way, leave a comment down below, guys. Have you even played the single player campaign yet, or are you just sticking to the multiplayer? Let me know in the comments down below. And also, what do you think of the campaign if you played it? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Let me know. And now let's take a look at those top comments you left in the previous video. Once again, leave a comment down below if you want the chance for your comment to be featured in an upcoming video. Let's start off with JC Brandon Watkins, who said the lighting is loads better. Not perfect, but glad they tweaked it for us. And this kind of ties in to what In Burns KM4HB says as well. They said it is so refreshing when a developer actually listens to its player base. So this is really a good sign for Battlefield 6. Even if you're not completely happy with the game, it looks like DICE is still actively listening to all of the community, which is very, very good news. And I'm really curious to see how they take the feedback from Season 1 and apply it to future updates and future seasons as well. And then Nicholas Sorensen says, wasn't Vigilante 8 that Twisted Metal knockoff for N64? Holy cow. What a throwback. And what Nicholas is referring to, in case you didn't know, is I mentioned how the Blackwell Fields map reminds me of a Vigilante 8 map from back in the day. And if you don't know what Vigilante 8 is, it is a game similar to Twisted Metal. You've got to check it out if you love Twisted Metal, because Vigilante 8 was freaking awesome back in the day. It was very similar to Twisted Metal. It did some things actually a lot better than Twisted Metal did, and I would love to see Vigilante 8 return as a franchise someday. I think it's such a missed opportunity that they don't bring it back. It's a totally random thing I'm talking about right now, but hopefully someday we see it return. But that's going to do it for the video, soldiers. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it. Hopefully you found the info useful, and I will see you guys out on the battlefield. Have fun out there, and see you later.